family. Come on in, come on in. Let's talk about it. How we doing today? How we doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another edition of Random Topic Thursdays tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna get started in a minute. Make sure if you are not, make sure you subscribe to our channel on Rumble. It is Random Topics. Make sure you subscribe to the Rumble channel is Random Topics, as you see right there in the banner. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me come on the screen, of course. Oh, how we doing? So, welcome everyone to another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursdays. We're talking tonight about a couple of matters. I'm going early. I figured, why not get this thing started? Make sure you are hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. If you're on ScrewTube, make sure you do those. Wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. We're alive, and I'm coming at you with 5. We got a couple of things to get into today. It's all right. Sorry, I had to answer a text message. So we're going to be talking about, unfortunately, a couple of matters. We have some updates in the Kyren Lacy and Kamelo Anthony case. So I'm going to be talking about that shortly. So we're going to get started on that. And I'm going to start in a particular order. Hope everybody is ready for if you do celebrate it, Easter season. You know, it is Easter. So spring is here, man. The year is going by. Just think, it's April 17th. I just remembered my birthday in February. Hell, I remember New Year's Day. It's going like that, man. Time is flying by. So make sure you are living your life to the fullest, which is what we all have to do, because life is very short. So you go and enjoy the things that you want to do the things you want to do, as long as it's not hurting others or God, and enjoy it, is what I say. So we got some updates, of course, in the Kyren Lacy situation and Kamelo Anthony. Of course, we know brother Kyren Lacy was a stalwart receiver for the LSU Tigers, who had he was arrested on some charges back in December for hit and run driving, negligent homicide, as well as reckless operation of a vehicle. And we know, tragically, sorry, I got an email notification I was looking at. All right. So what I was saying, we know that tragically, So what happened this past weekend? Mr. Lacy passed away due to what appears to have been a self-inflicted irreparable harm at his own hands, I should just say. For censorship purposes, I have to even be careful saying even any words with "I" in it, because they consider those to be bad words that get you censored, and it'll affect the algorithm. Now, what's going on is Kyren Lacy's father. A couple of things. I have video from Kyren Lacy's father, who I'm sympathizing with him. He's talking about mental health and how it affects his children. Now, and also I have a video from Matthew Ori. Matthew Ori is the attorney that represents Kyren Lacy. Uh, he was representing him through his office out in Thibodeau, from what I saw. And he's gone on the warpath for Kyren. He has gone out defending uh, Kyren and what has happened, and even saying how he should have been cleared and how fast people judged him. So we have video footage. I have some video on that I'm going to play shortly. But I would prefer if we can talk and show this video. This is coming out of the news station is Houston, which is Channel 2 out in Houston. I think this is the NBC affiliate. And uh, the brother, Kyren Lacy's father, Kenny Lacy, is speaking about his son's tragic passing and urging parents to talk to their children with regards to their mental health. So let's go ahead. I'm going to play this footage. Of course, ScrewTube and others, I'll get a copyright strike for sharing this stuff, but I'm going to play the audio so you can hear what he's saying, and let me know what you all think. So, fair use, by the way. This is fair use. So, let me know if y'all can hear.
LSU football star and NFL draft hopeful Kyren Lacy is speaking out about mental health. His son died after shooting himself during a police chase in Houston over the weekend. Lacy's father says mental health problems contributed to decisions that led up to his son's death. 2 days before his death, Lacy was expected to appear in a court hearing. He was accused of killing a 78-year-old man in a crash. Kenny Lacy, Kieran's father, says he was struggling dealing with that crash, and he is now using his son's platform, urging parents to talk to their children about the importance of mental health.
I want to do my best to help prevent this from happening to any other family. Just talk to them and find out what's going on. Don't be scared to talk to them. And if they don't want to talk at that time, find a time that they want to talk. You have to check on them kids' mental, man. It's imperative, because without you checking on them, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah, Lacy says having conversations with kids about mental health, he knows, can be difficult, but it's important to have them frequently and to discuss self-care. So if you or a loved one ever have thoughts of suicide, you should know that there is immediate help available. You can dial 988 on your phone to speak with someone. We also have resources online. You can search suicide resources on click2houston.com.
Yeah. That's just a tragic situation. My heart breaks for Kenny Lacy and his family. I can only imagine what they're going through at this time. And yes, if you are having some type of mental health crisis, or you have a loved one who's going through one, make sure you talk to your family. Make sure you talk to them and check on them if they're going through something, because a lot of times people who are going through a tough time mentally, it could be from a toxic relationship, it could be from work, employment, financial crisis. A lot of people don't like to go out and seek help, unfortunately, until it's too late. And they keep things to people tend, especially if they're going through depression, will keep things bottled up into themselves. So it is imperative that you get help and you seek help, and you check on them every now and then to see how they're doing. This is something, a tragedy that I wish had never happened. The young brother was presumed innocent until proven guilty, and I'm sure he struggled being charged with this, but also that he was being blamed for it. And from what his attorneys have even said, he should not have been criminally charged with this case. So I'm going to get to his attorney, Matthew Ori, and I've reached out to Matthew, his office, about possibly doing some interviews. I have not been able to get in touch with him just yet, but in this segment, he is talking about the passing of Kyren Lacy. This is courtesy of HTV Homer. I wanted to play some video footage and play a little bit about it, but he basically lays out why his client should not have been charged. So hold on, let's see.
We're going to take you from A to Z, all over the place. We've been trying over here just to deal with the press releases we get, the police report. You've been dealing with a great portion of this concerning because of FM 1960. The reporting in the case stated that our family member, later identified by her as 24-year-old Kyren Lacy, was involved in a verbal argument with her and had discharged a firearm into the ground. When the first Precinct 4 unit arrived on scene and began receiving information, they learned the suspect had fled the scene, and a description of the vehicle Lacy was driving was broadcast by radio at approximately 11:35 p.m. Precinct 4 Constable's Office unit spotted Lacy and attempted to make a traffic stop on the vehicle. Lacy then fled, and a vehicle pursuit took place spanning several miles near 25900 block of Aldine Westfield, and the suspect vehicle crashed. And then pursuing Precinct 4 units upon attempting to take Lacy into custody and remove him from the vehicle, discovered he had suffered what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Later,
So
Lacy
they're
was
reading
pronounced
police report.
deceased at the
Here, let
scene.
me pause it. So he's reading a police report. I talked about this on Sunday. I'm gonna try and fast forward, see if I can fast
By
forward.
EMS personnel. So much speculation. There's so much speculation in this. Granted, there was a prior incident that state police had reported where he was involved in an accident where a man was killed. He's deceased. So there's different sides to the story. There's different reasons people get involved. But the speculation on these stories is all over the place. So I wanted to bring Mr. Ori on today to sort of home in on some facts and to understand this, and to understand that in both sides, with the veteran, with Kyren Lacy's family, people are grieving. This was a promising athlete, but more than that, he was a son. He was a relative to many. He was a friend to many. So a community is grieving. And there you see the talented young man there. We covered him a lot here on HTV when he was in his high school days. So without further speculation on this, let me go to his attorney, Matt Ori. Matt, once again, thank you for coming. And what can you add that would make sense of this, if I could ask you that?
This is undoubtedly the worst case I've ever come across in my legal career. Nothing has pissed me off more than this case from day one.
Matt is hot.
Start by saying a man was tragically killed in an accident. Let's not twist this any more than it is. Mr. Herman was a good man. There is a proper platform for when those types of things happen. And in this case, it was not and is not criminal court. Let's be very clear on that right now. I will never, ever budge on that position. A grand jury was set today for the whole public to know, not once yet to this day has anybody ever said anything otherwise than the district attorney's office in Lafourche Parish has yet to this day to accept formal charges. Let that sink in.
Mm-hmm.
We were set for grand jury today. I am privy to so much information that no one has. To get a report is a report. You know how many cases we get reports on that ultimately end up in acquittals?
Mm-hmm.
This one never even got past a grand jury yet.
Right.
And they crucified this kid. And when I mean crucified in a manner I cannot describe, I had these talks with him where you're trying to calm it down, say, man, turn it off. Let me take the heat. I got thick skin. You got a problem with me on social media? Come at me. Who cares? They know nothing about this other than what was portrayed in an initial report that they're pieced together. They have no idea what I know now. They have no idea what was about to come out. And ultimately, I assure you, will still come out. This is just, I'm infuriated. And that takes nothing from the loss of Mr. Herman. Let's be very clear. A good man, a good family. I get it. There's a civil suit filed. That is the platform. Mr. Herman didn't ask for, you know what I mean? They had nothing to do to concoct this story. There's reasons all this happened. I know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And it really has nothing to do with that side of things. No one's ever once disputed that. Kyren's grandfather is a veteran, right? I mean, the narrative spun here has just been fascinating. Quite frankly, whether you were Marine or not, everybody's life is important. I have the utmost respect for Marine. Kyren had the utmost respect for Marines. That's irrelevant in this case, but the media didn't see it that way. The media, the same media, you know how upset he was? Every mugshot that was placed on there, you couldn't give him the courtesy of the 5,000 other pictures he had. You put him in a jumpsuit as if he was a thug and if he was this awful kid. The whole thing is wrong. And we were just about to show the world.
I want to come back and talk about that because there was something in that press release that I read that I
Pause
want
it.
to
I
ask you
want to
about
pause
that
it
sort of.
because I just
brings
don't
it-
want to get a copyright strike, and then want to talk through it because this is for commentary purposes. He's basically stating that they were prepared to present their evidence in defense of Kyren Lacy. You see, Kyren, and I explained to you that hit and run driving statute, that law. If you are a person who either caused the accident or was involved in some way, shape, or form, so it's a very broad law, the hit and run driving statute, and I'm speaking as a lawyer from my perspective of looking at it. You don't have to actually physically bump a car and then flee to be charged with hit and run driving. That's a part of it. If you're involved basically in what they believe are the change in circumstances, you know, those fortune of events that lead up to a car crash, which tragically resulted in the loss of life of Mr. Herman. That's how they get you on that. That's how you get charged. And what he is stating is they only got Kyren essentially because he was the big name. He's stating Kyren didn't cause the accident. Shouldn't have been charged in the first place. This is what the lawyer is stating. Now, we will never get a trial, unfortunately, because Kyren is deceased, but the lawyer is going all out in defense of his client, which is what you're supposed to do. Now, we never heard this attorney come out, and it's not their jobs to win in the court of public opinion, but we haven't heard of him until now, until recently coming out with this.
At home, and I'll give you a chance to talk about that. We appreciate Matt Ory coming in to talk about Kyren Lacy from a different perspective. That's what we're trying to do here, is sort of bring you the story from a different perspective, because the stories you're reading on social media are way out there. We're trying to rein it in here. We'll be right back. This segment was brought to you by Cardiovascular Institute of the South, providing our patients the highest quality cardiovascular care available. All right, welcome back. We're talking about the death of Kyren Lacy. Matt Ory, his attorney, is joining us here on the news desk. We've had a segment before this. This is a statement from Kenny Lacy. Young parents, start talking to your kids at a very early age and make sure they are confident and comfortable confiding in you. Don't be cool with I'm all right or I'm good when you know deep down something isn't right. Mental health is real, and for the most part, it's invisible. Don't ignore the signs, even if they may seem small. Of course, he goes on to talk about his love, and his life has changed forever. And you could tell this is just tugging at his heart in a big, big way. And Matt, I know we had talked prior to the show, but today was such a crucial day. And, you know, but for a young man, 24 years old, I guess it was excruciating getting to this day. And here we are.
Yeah, we're set for grand jury today, a day that I've been waiting for over a month. And I explained the process, but, you know, going to his dad's statement, I mean, you don't know what you're dealing with when you're talking about these things. You take for granted someone's 24 years old. It just, the whole thing, man, one more day. He had to hang on one more day. One more day. And it just, when it's deeper, I don't know what to say. I have no idea. I can't comprehend it. I can't compartmentalize how we got to where we needed to be by the skin of our teeth. At least I thought. And I get a call at 11:58 at night. And I mean, I don't know, man.
And you thought things would be in your own, well, I'll let you say it in your own word. You thought there was a pretty good chance today that things would be.
Pretty good chance. I
Okay.
thought there was an outstanding chance
All right.
that today this was over. You know, not my career, you live for these days. You work hard to get to those moments where you get to make those phone calls, to watch that kid smile again. You know, he's devastated when his combine cord gets pulled. I remember the day. And you want to reverse the trend. And the second I got a hold of this case, I knew things were off. There was no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. And then, of course, you start stringing things together, right? I get an initial report in every case. Then we do our job. District Attorney's Office starts doing their job. They do their investigation. It's just sad, man. Ms. Russell held up to her word. She did everything she could to keep it fair for both sides, to make sure that we got this done in a timely manner, which in our world, it was very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we just ran out of time. And I truly thank her for kept us informed the whole way of the process. And we ran out of time, man. It's I don't know.
Yeah, no,
It just
I mean,
sucks.
and Christine, she's a fair woman.
She's very fair.
Yeah. Where do you see, or what have you told the family? Where does it go from here, Matt?
I'm not stopping. I will not stop until what I know is divulged and what is told and that story is done. I firmly believe today, and I'll never take this back, if it was you or I or anybody else, the investigating agency would never have brought charges against us. There's another human in this case that is a defendant in the civil lawsuit. She's not charged with crime. I'm the very, very, very strong opinion, if we're coming to a proportionment of fault here, it wouldn't even be close. I stand by what I'm saying, and I'm not backing off. I will never back off of that. Not for him, not for anybody. It's never going to happen again to somebody else. Not this way.
Yeah.
Too many things you find out after the fact that go, that's interesting. That was ignored. Or that's what your expert says. Well, how about what this investigation says? You know, you watched an accident. Let's be very clear. You were so close. You didn't get in a collision with the vehicles in front of him. Mr. Herman was in front of him, his vehicle, at the time that this happened. He watched the accident happen. The second car in oncoming traffic, whatever they were doing, goes into the other lane. And Kyren was charged with negligent homicide. Think about that.
Yeah. This is interesting information we're getting right now.
This is the tip of the iceberg of information, but the initial reports that he fled a scene, he did this, he did that. You know how many people see wrecks every day and don't stop? It doesn't mean you don't care about the person, if they were injured, how they were injured. There's so much that you don't know. And frankly, in that initial report, that it is exactly what it is.
So state police handled the initial
They did.
report. Okay, so what would be your next step as an attorney? Have you thought it out yet? I know it's very emotional time for you, right?
I have, and that at this, I mean, I told you that before this interview started. There's certain things I will not divulge, but I can promise you this is not over, and I'm not stopping. I'm very convicted in how I feel in this. I've done this too long, and I knew from day one, where this was going. It makes me sick. There's nothing else I can say. I'm not happy. I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. Who gives a damn about me? I'm just saying that's where my head's at right now. I don't need to say anything else.
All right.
It's all been thought out. And I want the truth told.
I'm going to stop the video there. So, yeah. So Matthew Ori, that was him speaking out on Homa Channel news station about the passing of Kyren Lacy, his situation, why he believes Kyren was convicted. That was Bayou Time. That's actually I guess that seems like it's a public access channel, HTTV, out of Channel 10. Yeah, shout out to him. Yes, he's doing his job. He's doing his job as an attorney, defending his client even in death. So I applaud him for that. It is unfortunate that Kyren passed away before he had his day in court, because now that he's deceased, of course, now the terrible thing about it is there's no such thing as defaming a dead person, because that's a personal right, and the dead are dead. People can have their presumptions, and I have seen that you go on Facebook and you look at social media after Kyren had passed, there are countless memes, there are countless comments they're saying about his passing from them folks and how they feel about it. But these are the same people who will talk about how great America is in this country, and they don't even support the very principles of the foundations of our legal system, which states that a person is innocent until the state proves beyond a reasonable doubt that they are guilty. That is the presumption of law. That, unfortunately, is not applied to black men in America. You're guilty until, well, we don't even care until. You're still guilty in our eyes. Look at OJ, Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. I could go on. Now, maybe with R. Kelly, now, I know some people think, well, why you went to R. Kelly? Well, certain things, let's just put it this way. Certain charges on R. Kelly he should not have been convicted on. And I say keyword is certain, meaning there are some things that I think the courts were in error with, just based off what I've read and researched. But I know there are people who say, well, they don't care because they think he still deserved what happened to him. Be that as it may, that's my position on it. Now, I tie this in, getting back to Kyren. We also have an update on the Kamelo Anthony situation. And I talked about just now what I'm discussing. You're going to see this video, the level of cooning, I got to say this, from some bootlicks who are upset because Kamelo Anthony's bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000, to the point where now a Judge Angela Tucker, a black woman, who I have in the avatar. If you look at that picture, of course, you see I'm sorry, I have that up there with there's a reason why I have that picture. I'm not sorry. There's a picture, obviously, of Kamelo Anthony with his mugshot next to the judge. That picture that I put up in the avatar, that was an actual picture, and I'm going to explain why I did it. That was the picture from TMZ, because TMZ did an article and recanting some of the information that has been coming out, which I'm about to tell you. So on Monday, Kamelo Anthony's bond was reduced from $1 million to $250,000. And the judge held a hearing where Kamelo his father even testified. And the judge basically gave her reasons why the bond should be lowered, given the fact the defendant had no criminal history. He was 17 years of age. A bond is there to ensure that a defendant is going to appear in court. It is not and should not be necessarily a punishment against a person. And this, of course, comes in light of the fact that Mr. Anthony is being accused of murder of a fellow student, Austin Metcalf. Now, the right wing and the left wing have been commenting on this, and the judge even commented on it, because she stated that she never, in all of her years on the bench, has she been on the bench, that she has tried murder cases before, the level of scrutiny from the media, the press, the courthouse was packed, they said. The Metcalf family was present. And what happened, unfortunately, is in recent times, GiveSendGo, which is basically like a GoFundMe, they gave money, or not have given. There is money, nearly $462,716 that has been raised on behalf of the Anthony family, which was something that came up at the hearing on Monday. And they're arguing, and also when they look at a bond, they try to see if the person is a flight risk, which obviously 17 years old, he's not. So she put conditions on him. He can't leave the house. He's on house arrest. He has to wear an ankle monitor. He had to report in every Friday to the judge's clerk. And the only times he can leave the home is obviously if it's for purposes of speaking with his lawyer. That's it. So this is not a leisure thing he can have. Now, he's presumed innocent until proven guilty, but white supremacy is white supremacy, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, and coonery is coonery. And so some people can't accept this. And so they've made up lies on Brother Anthony, and I want to share some things that I've received. So before I do that, show this video. This is Rob Smith. Now, I don't know too much about him. I don't really care. But I want you to listen very carefully to this video. I'm going to play it the whole way through. I won't interrupt. Fair use. I want y'all to hear everything he says, because what he's saying gets refuted. And I'm going back to the proof of what I'm saying. Now, he's quoting from the New York Compost, which the New York Compost, basically, they are the New York Post and the Daily Mail. Daily Mail is tabloid trash, and the New York Compost, essentially, that is white supremacy post. Really, that's what they should call it, because every time they've posted articles, they push and fan the flames of division. Now, I've actually listened and subscribed to the New York Post with certain articles that they've had. I try to listen to news, of course, that's balanced. New York Post tends to lean to the right, which they typically do. And they're not alone. Even the other mainstream media like NBC, CBS, they lean to the left, of course. And I think media needs to be honest. I don't think it should have a side. Media, if you're reporting to people with freedom of the press, that requires to be unbiased. But unfortunately, if you're tied with a corporation, you're owned by corporations, the corporations have corporate interest. But I want to play this video, and I'm going to show you the article from TMZ.
Well, Kamelo Anthony, the murderer and scammer, is now scamming in a $900,000 house. This is from a story in the New.
He starts off wrong. First of all, it looked like he's wearing off pink. Well, Kamelo Anthony, the murderer, he's moist. You can just see the moistness. Just let me finish.
New York Post, which says that despite getting his bail lowered from $1 million to $250,000 because of, quote, financial difficulties, Kamelo Anthony and his family have not only moved into a $900,000 home in a luxurious gated community, but they've also gone car shopping. This is from the Post. It is basically saying that he lives in that $900,000 home in a luxurious gated community. And it said, according to the New York Post reporting, it had a white Suburban, a black Acura, and a third sedan in the driveway on Tuesday. And again, that is actually from the Daily Mail, not the New York Post. But man, a neighbor told the family that Kamelo Anthony just bought a new ride because, when you're a 17-year-old kid and you kill another teenager, now's the time to flex off of all of your scammy fundraising money. A neighbor said the family had just bought a new ride. He just got a new car, the resident told the outlet. If you look at the license plate, it's got a paper tag and says it expires June 4th. Again, Black people, are you going to continue to get scammed by Kamelo Anthony and all of the people that are around him that are making the case of a 17-year-old Black teenager who, by the way, killed another teenager, Austin Metcalf? He killed the kid. And now he is being made out to seem like some sort of civil rights activist. The EBT crowd is in my mentions, and they're about free Kamelo. They got the black fist and the symbol. So this, Black people, this is who you ride for. This is your hero. This is your celebrity. This is the person that you're going to give money to. I think that Kamelo Anthony and the people around him know exactly how stupid the EBT crowd that's supporting Kamelo Anthony is. And they know that once this video footage comes out, and there are rumors about what the video footage says, but once this video footage comes out, it will probably be the end of the gravy train. So, like many a BLM scammer before them, like many a race hustling scammer before them, in the grand tradition of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and all of the other race hustlers, that have come forth throughout American history. You know, the team around Kamelo Anthony is just walking in the footsteps of the great race hustlers of America. I think that it's the gravy train is going to end quite soon for these folks. I will be glad it does. I'll be glad when it does. But until then, Black people, do you ever get tired of being hustled, scammed, and played by race hustlers? The answer seems to be no.
Okay. So let's correct.
Well, Kamelo Anthony, the murderer, and
okay, I've had enough of the zesty. Now, let's look at this. So he first off, you listen to what he says. He calls him a murderer and so forth. Although he has an American flag in the background, and again, he does not obviously live up to the American principles of our legal system, which states you are innocent until proven guilty, because he starts off calling this kid a murderer. Now, it will all come out at trial. He's entitled to due process, but of course, we know Rob Smith and others. There's some other Black folks who, y'all have heard of them, like the Jason Whitlocks, who's a couple of other these on the far right. He works for the Blaze and so forth. Of course, they're always going to do that. Excuse me 1 second, y'all. Hold up. I gotta take this. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Hold up. I'm sorry. I'm back. So you have coons like Smith. There are a couple of others. I mean, I've listened. I stopped caring about Anton Daniels because Anton Daniels, he's always saying he'll say some real talk on stuff that I like about men and how the situation of the family and so forth. But he always says something very especially anti-Black. I'll never forget. He said New Orleans was not a place to live and be a family, which I call it a simple place. And you're from Detroit. There's a lot that could be said about Detroit. But I digress. Now, nevertheless, so let's look at the Kamelo Anthony situation. So I wanted to point this out. The founder of GiveSendGo, Jacob Wells, came out and he released this statement. Now, this is where I got of course, I want to show y'all something. The reason I had that picture, Judge Angela Tucker, that's where I got that from. She's been receiving death threats, apparently, and the FBI is investigating it ever since she released the bond. So that's where I got this picture from, and that's why I put that up here, because TMZ, which is abbreviation for the 30-mile zone, their gossip channel, they even got it right, because they even reported and had to report and share the information from the founder of the GiveSendGo, Jacob Wells, who says that Kamelo Anthony and his family have not received any money. But Robert Smith, the Daily Mail, and the New York Post will make it seem like they used the money to go buy a new house and car and so forth. When, first of all, if you know anything about real estate or even buying a car and so forth, you have to give an accounting. Nobody just pays cash for a house anymore. You have to prove where that money comes from if you want to buy a house. Or, well, in this case, they're saying they rented it. You still have to go through a credit report, a credit check. They got to ask you about your income and so forth. And Same thing with buying a car. So he did a video. I don't want to play it because TMZ gonna put a copyright. Wells gave his statement, and in it, he basically said, for those wondering why GiveSendGo would be involved with someone charged with murder, Wells tells TMZ it is not up to the company to decide Anthony's guilt or innocence, and that this case has to be adjudicated in a court of law. And in fairness, Derek Chauvin, Kyle Rittenhouse, Luigi Mangione have gotten campaigns from GiveSendGo. And this is to squash the lies that have been told. Now, I will say this. Yeah, I don't know. Of course, I know where they get these Negroes from who are desperate for any check. Now, I got to give credit where credit is due. Anthony Brown Logan is a big conservative. Now, I haven't seen any videos of his, but he has been on X, and he's defended Kamelo Anthony from discreetly from what I've seen. I've seen texts where tweets where he's put up on his post that if he got attacked in that situation, oh, believe me, I'm going to pull a gun and I'm going to defend myself. He has said stuff like this. So I give credit where credit is due. At least my whole point and my taking on it is that we have to all wait until the facts come out. We don't know what happened. If he is guilty, so be it. We'll see what happens then. We're asking for due process. African Americans don't get due process. He said it, yeah. Final results is a draw. For me, it's not fighting anyone on the street. People are crazy, and you never know what they are capable of. A stranger randomly punches me in the face, I'm pulling my piece instantly. Now, he's saying it. He retweeted, actually, Maj Touré, and shout out to Maj Touré. I know Maj Touré. He retweeted this article in support of what they're saying because he's saying they're distorting the facts. He hasn't received any money. You know, he's combated the stuff because they try to make it look like the brother Kamelo Anthony and his family, they come all from the hood and just trying to get milk or gravy train. And that's not the case. The majority of support and outrage is from whites. Same thing that happened during George Floyd. Exactly. These are the same people. Now he says the exact same George Floyd all over again, but it's online conservatives who are the I can't breathe people. Yeah, that's why I can't mess with him too much. I don't understand what the hell that means, but everybody knows George Floyd. They tried to change the facts and say he was involved with drugs and so forth, which I won't even doubt that she is involved, that he was, but that had nothing to do with the case. The coroner's report all said that he died from a homicide. So he even says here the comments about Kamelo for being some sort of a thug from a single parent household are aging like milk.
And stared straight forward while his jumpsuit. He spoke only to identify himself to the judge, and 2 jobs while serving as captain. His son is the oldest of 4 siblings, a straight-A student, active in his church, and worked 2 jobs while serving as captain of the football and track team. To this point, He's not had any criminal history. All factors his defense brought up when asking the judge to lower the bond. The amount they were asking for was $150,000. The prosecution, though, argued the bond should have stayed at $1 million, even asking Andrew Anthony about the online fundraiser that's raised $412,000 for his son's defense. Ultimately, though, the judge said the purpose of bond is not a punishment, but to ensure the defendant returns for his court dates and to protect the community. If Anthony does post the $250,000 bond, he will be on house arrest, confined to his home with a leg monitor, and cannot leave unless the court grants permission.
So he defends it. Now, there was another video I have here. So they had a press conference with Kamelo Anthony's lawyers and others. But yeah, this is the lies that they're trying to tell. Now, the mother of Kamelo Anthony spoke. And I believe, and I'm going to go to my bookmarks here. Oh, we're on X, yeah. Look at this. He goes on a deranged rant and all this stuff. It's not even a GoFundMe campaign. So this is the mom.
Our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Kamelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the GiveSendGo fundraiser, and the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds, and it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
So that's the mom that spoke. She spoke about it. Of course, this doesn't, and you can see on X, you can see the rednecks who are commenting on this, going in on them. And now you look at this. I'm looking at this photo from 4/5. This was before the incident. If I'm not mistaken, the date on the photo says April 5th. If I'm not mistaken, the incident with Kamelo Anthony happened a little bit later. Am I right? It was probably around the same time. So who knows if she posted it probably that more. When did that happen? Let's look at the date. Yeah, she went on. Carmelo is a honor student. Yeah, 3.7. Yeah. So, okay, so April 5th. The confrontation happened on, so the confrontation supposedly took place on April 2nd. So this says April 5th. But this post, even if it is, remember, the family did not get and has not received any monies. It has not been reallocated to them. Who knows if, especially if they're getting a new car and a new house. And I look carefully even at the top of it, this collage. It looks like this is on TikTok. It's dated actually 2023. If you look at the top here, this is probably from someone else's account who posted these pictures. So they're wrong. But why doesn't that surprise me? I'm just for due process. I want due process to come in. Of course, Matt Walsh's racist ass is gonna say this.
So it don't be asked later. Is that was disrespectful. And all I'm going to say, so it don't be asked later, is that was disrespectful and just shows you all the character who is not invited. He knows that it's inappropriate to be near this family, but he did it. And so I say to people, actions speak louder than words. Okay? What he has failed into is the political operatives that want to make this thing a political thing of hate, yet bigotry, and yet racism. We have conservative operatives that have been posting nonstop about this case. And all I'm going to say,
Of course, yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, he's talking about the father that showed up at a press conference from the accused. Well, remember, the boy, Carmelo, cannot have any communications whatsoever with the victim's family. So why would the father come to the press conference for the mother? I mean, and yeah, he could be going through a ton of emotions about what happened. He's upset, obviously, of what happened to his kid. But why would he come? Why should he come? Of course, Matt Walsh is a racist piece of crap. A lot of these Matt Walsh, Matt Wallace, Chris, Matt, James, all of them. Oh, look. Punk as James Woods even posted something. I can't, racist ass James Woods. Where are they getting this stuff from? Yeah. So I'm about fairness. I'm about due process. That's what my position is. And you know, we're monitoring this, but that's all I had to say for tonight. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I have to run and take care of some stuff. I've been here for almost an hour. Make sure you smash up the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you love me for my time, pay me for my time. But those were the updates that I had. What's going on, Frank Nitty? You all be safe and be blessed. Make sure you hit up the Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I missed anything else, but yeah, they're threatening the judge and so forth. If the FBI gets involved, you know it's going down. It's real. So y'all be safe and be blessed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to get up out of here, all right? All right, take care. Peace. I'll holla. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace.